Take a look at Jake. He holds down a stable job, pays his bills on time, and goes out on the weekends. On paper, his financial life appears perfectly secure. Then, on a Tuesday night, the car grinds to a halt. The tow truck arrives, and the mechanic quotes him exactly $1,200 for the repair. Jake opens his banking app. His available balance reads exactly $47. Unexpected expenses are a mathematical certainty. Cars break down and roofs leak. A lack of systemic preparation turns these routine mechanical failures into major financial setbacks. Facing an immediate void of cash, Jake takes the path of least resistance. He pulls out a credit card to cover the $1,200 repair. This chart maps out the exact math of that decision. The initial $1,200 creates a sharp spike, and compound interest immediately begins inflating the total. Digging out of this specific hole forces Jake into 6 solid months of strict budgeting and painful restriction. People watch this cycle happen and rationalize it by waiting for extra money to appear before they start saving. That surplus rarely arrives. If you cannot systematically set aside $50 today, a sudden raise will not magically produce a $500 surplus tomorrow. Emergency reserves run purely on mechanical discipline, entirely disconnected from your top-line income. This cash reserve serves one specific purpose: acting as a thick, defensive barrier between your current freedom and a multi-month debt trap. Let's rewind the timeline. Same dark road, same smoking engine, same $1,200 mechanic bill. This time, Jake has a system in place. This animation shows the initial phase of that system, a strict $1,000 target. Attempting to save $5,000 or $10,000 immediately causes paralysis. A solid $1,000 baseline easily absorbs the vast majority of common mechanical failures and urgent clinic visits. You automate the process. By setting up a recurring transfer on payday, diverting $20 to $50 straight into the reserve, the decision is executed immediately. To fuel that, you eliminate exactly one recurring lifestyle expense, directly redirecting that dollar amount to accelerate your savings. Relying on raw willpower every month eventually leads to failure. Automating these micro-habits constructs a robust financial defense through quiet, systematic extraction. In the original timeline, Jake's balance hovered at $47 because his emergency cash mingled freely with the money he used to buy groceries and weekend drinks. The structural fix requires 2 separate environments: a highly active checking account for daily traffic and a high-yield savings account. Physical distance creates psychological friction, protecting the funds from impulse purchases. Accessing the cash requires deliberate extra steps. Sitting safely insulated from lifestyle creep, that HYSA quietly generates passive interest. The pile of cash grows slightly every single month without any active effort. Opening a separate account forces a strict quarantine. It guarantees the cash remains perfectly intact until a genuine disaster hits. Once the $1,000 baseline is secure, the objective scales up. The advanced target is 3 to 6 months of actual living expenses. This visual maps out the exact math. If your core baseline, rent, food, and utilities, costs $2,000 a month, you are stacking 3 and eventually 6 months of expenses, establishing a total reserve of $6,000 to $12,000. Maintaining a structure this large requires strict rules of engagement. You deploy these funds exclusively for absolute needs. If you drain your fund to fix a leaking roof, your immediate, non-negotiable priority next month is replenishing that account. Furthermore, you do not invest this specific pool of cash in the stock market. An emergency fund must remain completely liquid, ready to deploy on a day's notice. This fully funded structure absorbs massive impacts, like a sudden layoff or a major medical event. It provides the exact mathematical dividing line between chronic financial panic and deep, persistent security. Look closely at the 2 branches of this story. The first version of Jake loses sleep, cancels plans, and bleeds CADs to compound interest for half a year. The second version pays the mechanic in cash and goes home. The engine failure is reduced to a minor Tuesday inconvenience. An emergency fund buys options. It purchases absolute immunity from the debt cycle, neutralizing financial stress before it begins. Open your banking app today. Set up that first automated transfer, even if it is a simple $20 routing from your next paycheck. True financial engineering is slow and methodical. By systematically building an emergency fund, you guarantee that no matter what goes wrong, you keep moving forward.